Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review series. This is the November 21st edition of 1992. Virgil and Bret Hart for the WWF Championship. I would say this is the best match Virgil ever had. I know there are some people that would debate whether his match with Ted DiBiase at SummerSlam 91 was better. I would say they're pretty well equal, but the reason I think this is better by just a smidge is A, Virgil gets more wrestling based offense at this point, and B, a babyface versus babyface match harder to pull off. Obviously, all credit goes to Bret Hart for making Virgil look good. I mean, even something as simple as just putting the hands on the face during the side headlock takeover that Virgil had and the head scissors Virgil had, positioning of the hands throughout, holds, really, really important. Snap to the clothesline that Bret uses. Bret does not make Virgil look weak by any stretch of the imagination, but he does carry himself as the new world champion. Virgil, though, up and over, drives the shoulder into the midsection of Bret, hits a suplex on Bret and a near fall. I think giving Virgil the near fall another good thing. I mean, Virgil eventually uh, misses the second rope cross body, which leads to his eventual loss because it leaves him open for the sharpshooter. But in terms of a 4 or 5 minute match, probably the best match Virgil ever had. Also, Bret does the amenable thing, drops down and kind of checks on Virgil, helps him to his feet. We're then taken to a special bulletin. I've been talking about this for the last few weeks, but this is the Saturday before Survivor Series. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 4 days away from the Survivor Series, if you count the day of. The announcement is made on Superstars on last Monday. So, yeah, about a week and a half in advance. Randy Savage says they say the Warrior is out. Savage has to find a new partner. Mr. Perfect steps forward. Savage encourages him to be the partner. Doesn't really get into the whys, but Perfect accepts. They don't show it in the update, but actually Bobby Heenan tells him not to, tells him to hold back, and actually insults Perfect. Perfect picks up a cup of water, dumps it over Heenan after being slapped in the face. Tremendous angle. If you're a young fan, and I know there are many that weren't even alive when this took place. What's even scarier to me is there are many that don't even know the history of the sport beyond the last 20 years, which is why we're doing this series. But anyway, um, just a classic angle worth going out of your way to see if you want to be a decent heel, if you want to know how to do a turn. All of these things are useful. Then we've got Yokozuna against Todd Becker. Would not want to be Todd Becker in this situation. Yokozuna certainly, this time in a black and red sumo level outfit. Thrust kick, though, by Yoko. That's why a lot of people don't realize how really, at least up and through maybe the winter of 94, so about the first 18 months or so of his run, he can do some amazing things. Uranage on the young guy and a running leg drop. Yokozuna at this point does not speak any English. All he says pretty much is Yosh and Banzai. Several palm strikes in the corner, trying to be true to the Japanese martial arts aspect of his career. Also managed by Mr. Fuji, so if he didn't know some martial arts, that would be kind of Wookiee, right? Big splash in the corner, and then the Banzai drop. Yokozuna obviously headed for a huge push. And to think that he comes into the company in November, wins the Royal Rumble by January, and is champion by April. Talk about strapping a rocket to somebody. That's certainly it. We go to the Survivor Series preview. Obviously, everything going to be about the Survivor Series here. Sean Mooney takes us through. reminds us that it's available on pay-per-view. Nasty Boys say they're ready to get their hands on Money Incorporated, as are the Natural Disasters. Both teams, three of the four teams in this match, if you think about it, Money Incorporated, Nasty Boys, and Natural Disasters are former tag team champions or current tag team champions. Just a big deal in that regard. Then we go. Kamala is very nervous. Basically, Kemchi tries to calm him down. Harvey Whippleman implies that The Undertaker is obsessed with death in this promo, but they've got a plan. Then we go to highlights with Lord Alfred Hayes from Saturday night's main event. Why do we go to highlights from Saturday night's main event? The answer is pretty simple. The Intercontinental Championship changes hands, and we need to acknowledge that. Shawn Michaels is your new Intercontinental Champion. Michaels beats down the British Bulldog for a couple of minutes. Bulldog actually almost has him being Michaels' pal, rocking and rolling for quite a bit. Michaels does the upside down flip in the corner, gets a good clothesline, and then the old slingshot spot. Michaels is bouncing all over the place like he's a ping pong ball, and Davey Boy Smith looks really good. I actually preferred them in 92 to a few years later in 95-ish. Michaels, though, had removed the turnbuckle pad, manages to whip the Bulldog into the exposed steel. And this enables Michaels, who has been placed on the exposed steel buckle, an attempt at a superplex by the Bulldog. Of course, Bulldog had done superplexes before with his tag team partner. Attempts the superplex, can't get him. Michaels falls forward into a pinning combination off the top turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3, your new Intercontinental Champion. For the first time, Shawn Michaels. Big moment in his life and career. Then we move back to the Superstars Arena, and Steve Walker and Mike Kramer are in the ring for this bunch. And this bunch happens to be the Natural Disasters. There is an earthquake and a typhoon figure that fans in the crowd have, so they're over as baby faces. I don't remember having either one of those, honestly. And I was as a kid, pretty accessible figure collector, thanks to my grandmother. But anyway, enhancement talent hits some splashes. There's an inset from the IRS and Ted DiBiase and the Beverly Brothers. They obviously say they've got everything in hand and nobody needs to worry. Obviously, everyone else would disagree. Tag off to the Earthquake. Earthquake hits the splash in the corner, and Earthquake hits a power slam, and an Earthquake splash tags off to Typhoon. Typhoon hits the tidal wave splash, and we're done. Mean Gene Okerlund does the Survivor Series report and reminds us one more time of all the action we're going to see on Thanksgiving Eve. I actually missed the Thanksgiving Eve tradition. Mr. Perfect in there. It's clear at this point that Flair is beside himself, that he thinks, everything is going his way. And Razor Ramon, for the record, takes all of this as a betrayal. Flair just about loses not only his blood pressure, but ends up losing his suit jacket. He's wearing what seems to be a bedazzled, well, not bedazzled, but straggling tie and dress shirt, and he's about to pop a blood vessel at the betrayal caused by Mr. Perfect. Flair does not like betrayals, we have learned. Bam Bam Bigelow debuts next week, we are told, and the big man he's been around, at this point, 7-8 years, something like that, and finally getting I guess I'd say a sniff towards where he wants to be in his career. Lance Cassidy faces off against Barry Horowitz here. Cassidy, a guy in one of the Armstrongs who really could have done more. Barry does get some early offense on him, which is a bit surprising. Barry Horowitz, though, has been around for so long that it's not as surprising as it would be from other guys. Cassidy with the arm drag and the arm bar. Takedown, we see an inset from Cassidy, basically threatens to take over the WWF in a babyface way. Knee lift by Horowitz, and Horowitz is anything but happy with all that's going on here. He, puts the foot across the bottom of the throat, and then Cassidy brings him out with a hip toss, and then goes to the top rope for the cross body. 1, 2, 3. I'm not necessarily sure I agree with the idea of a cross body. What with the, high energy team, maybe that should have been left for them. Speaking of high energy, they do a small promo where they talk about, for the final time, facing the Head Shrinkers at the pay-per-view. Head Shrinkers are getting their first taste of pay-per-view after being with the company for less than a month or so. And then we go to Martel and Tatanka. They're still pushing this. Both men, Tatanka saying, I'm going to finish you once and for all. Martel saying, you're still bitter that I look better in the feathers than you do. And then we go to an update where The Undertaker basically puts the finishing touches on the coffin. The last thing we see is him closing the coffin symbolically, as though he plans to do to Kamala, only this is not to Kamala, this is to the I don't even know, the coffin itself. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.